unreal game tonight between the Suns and the Nuggets. So many things to dive into this. I mean, you got to start with Jokic. Just absolutely incredible, historic, unbelievable performance by a guy that is a two-time former league MVP that is going to be right there in the running to possibly win it again this year, becoming the first player in NBA history to have a 30-20-20 game. 30-20-20. I remember when Russell Westbrook did the 20-20-20 game, and that was unbelievable in its own right. A 30-20-20 game is just absolutely bonkers. It's hard to comprehend. I mean, it's unbelievable. Like there's not enough words to describe that type of performance from a guy. And they needed every bit of production that he gave. I mean, 31 points, 21 rebounds, 22 assists. I had a feeling it was going to happen. I mean, go back and listen to the last pod that we talked about. The Suns got worked really hard down low by Zubac for the Clippers. Not exactly a superstar player. I mean, he's good, but that was just last game. And I was like, if he did this to him, he'd poured in a career high against him. What is Jokic going to do in a game that was important for the Nuggets? As all of a sudden the Lakers are just going crazy and they need to keep pace with them. And he goes out and has maybe the best game of his career, maybe of his life. I mean, certainly he's had a bunch of performances that are up there, but 30, 21, and 22. Unreal. So many moments in this game. I mean, there's so many things to talk about. I look at the Suns. It's a really weird game to kind of digest and think about for them, because they would have loved to have had this win. But the amount of fight that they showed, and to battle back going into the fourth quarter down that much, to just keep willing and to keep grinding. This is a fight from a team that we have not seen from them. It feels like the entire year until last game, where their backs were up against the wall, and then all of a sudden, finally, they turn it on. But like, boy, they put so much into this one, and they get their way. They fight their way all the way back into it, and then need a prayer, and just a monstrous shot by KD in the corner to tie it to force overtime. What are you doing if you're Denver, leaving him open? I know there wasn't exactly like a ton of time left, so you think maybe they can't run but of all the guys on the court, there's pretty much two of them that you don't want to leave open right there, and it's Devin Booker and Kevin Durant. You gave him a corner three, which is the best shot in basketball, and he buries it. Just horrible defense. But all that effort, all that performance, everything that went into that comeback, and then you get blown out in overtime. They gave up 24 points in overtime in 5 minutes of game time. 24 points for the Nuggets there. I mean, I get some of them was free throws late and stuff, but that's rough. But even as disappointing as it is not getting the win, we knew on this road trip they had 4 very tough games. 3 and then Dallas, I guess, would say. You would think Dallas should not be a tough game anymore. And I said if they can go 2-2, that'd be great. Boy, you would have loved to start off the road trip with this win. And now you get concerned that maybe this is going to have the opposite effect, because a win like this, that's something that you can build on. That's something that gets the team fired up, and it feels like you get really kind of a breakthrough moment. Instead, now you kind of worried that it was like we just gave it our best shot, and we didn't get it done. You get concerned that maybe it goes the other way. I hope not, but boy, You could definitely see that happening to a team. Um, there's so many other things to talk about. First of all, for 3/4 of this game, the first 3/4, the Nuggets were shooting at a historic clip. They were going crazy. Aaron Gordon, who has turned himself into a very good catch and shoot 3-point shooter, was like 7 of 8 at one point, which is ridiculous. Like, I don't even know if he shoots that at layups this season, but he was shooting that at 3. Everybody on the Nuggets at one point, it felt like we're hitting shots. And it was like, it's just not going to be Phoenix's night. They were shooting like 60% from 3 going into the fourth. Finally, they cooled off and regressed a little bit to the mean, but the fact that the Suns didn't give up when it felt like, what are you going to do? It's not our night. They're making everything. It's not our night. What are you going to do? And they just kept battling and fighting to get back into that thing. But man, Aaron Gordon hit, it felt like every shot for 3/4 of this game. And then he got a little cool, but like you get 7 threes from him and he's normally the guy in the dunker spot. Like that is, what are you going to do? How are you going to beat a team that you're normally trying to force everyone not named Michael Porter Jr. to shoot threes for the most part? Jamal Murray's such a hot and cold guy that, like, if he makes his first few, you kind of adjust. But Christian Braun, you normally not worried about shooting threes. Like, that's fine. Then guys they got coming off the bench, Peyton Watson comes out. He hits 3 threes. Even Russ hit a 3. It felt like they just couldn't miss. And that's so frustrating. It's like Phoenix was playing hard. They were flying around a little bit. It just felt like the Nuggets were hitting every shot and shooting it with so much confidence. And finally, despite all that, Phoenix doesn't rattle. They keep fighting. They keep grinding despite that, and they get themselves back in that game. But then just not enough gas down the stretch. And it's just, there's two ways of looking at the game. I mean, there's looking at it like, hey, we got some fight, and if we play like this, we can clearly play with a team that's got championship aspirations. We're right there. Or it's, we gave it our best shot, and it wasn't enough. Like, we couldn't have done much more, and we still didn't get the win. I don't know which way this team goes. They have shown finally some fight 2 games ago. Didn't the night after that. Is that just what we can expect now? Is just kind of some ups, some downs? I hope not. But, man, what do you do when a guy gives you 31, 22, and 20? That's something I will probably never, maybe we'll see it again. Probably not for a very long time. The Suns got to find a way to limit post players. And granted, Jokic is 101. There's no other big, even remotely dominant that plays the way that he does right now. Maybe Embiid, but Embiid hardly ever plays right now. Oh, but man, that would have been a nice one to get. That would have been a really, really good way to start off this road trip. Not quite, though. I guess you just tip your cap. That was greatness. That was greatness personified. That was one of the best performances in NBA history. It was the first time ever someone put in a 30-20-20 game. And the guy's supposedly not even the favorite to win MVP this year. He's averaging a 30-point triple-double in the year, and he's not the favorite. I don't know. You try and tell me that there's somebody better than him out there on the planet right now with basketball. I don't see it. Yeah, so I guess all we now wait and see. Things could be worse. The Mavericks aren't, they got blown out, so it's not like you're losing ground on that last seed. And you still got them coming up. So like there's a chance to still kind of make up that ground. Still only 2.5 back from that final spot. And now everything gets ready for what's going to be Sunday night's game or Sunday afternoon's game against Dallas. That's going to be monstrous. That's every game is a must win. That one is like a must win with that's bold and underlined and circled. You've got to beat Dallas in this this situation. Cut it to a game and a half back of them. Their wheels have completely fallen off. And if you do that, you're going to find yourself in that play-in game and then roll the dice, I guess, and see what happens. So, chalk it up as you played a historic great player who had the best game of his career. But boy, it would have been really, really nice if the Suns could have gotten that one.